Hello and welcome to Kittick Farms. We're back with another episode of Edgewater, Saskatchewan. And, well, since a last episode, if you've been watching the community updates on the channel or my social media, you'll know that we lost access to my primary account. The channel got shut down, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. I've got everything back and got it up and running. However, well, there's been a few changes on the farm because I didn't have the save properly backed up, and we lost the map files for the original version of the map that we were playing on. And when I updated to the latest version of the map that's going through testing on ModHub right now, there were a few different changes that required a new save. So what does that mean for our playthrough? Well, essentially it means that we have some changes in our field states here, just a little bit. Previously I had canola in these two sections and then peas up here. However, I could only put a single crop into field 1 here, and so I wanted to get a good chunk of canola, and so rather than having part of field 1 and part of field 50, now all of field 1 is going to be canola, field 51 is still wheat, and our peas are now over here in 50, field 2 is still lentils. And because we lost all of that work we'd done on fertilizing and mulching and all these different things we'd been doing throughout the year, I decided to set field 1 into the perfect state. Fields 250 and 51 are in their default states for pH level, and then nitrogen levels as well. Since we had put down quite a bit of nitrogen on some of our fields, we decided to give ourselves a little bit of a break and put the nitrogen on field 1 here with our canola, because our canola is going to use that, and then the other 3 fields are going to suffer here, and we'll kind of see how that plays out as we get into harvest. I have set the time back to June, which is where we left off last episode. I have brought all of our vehicles and stuff over. That required a little bit of being handy in the XML files because the vehicle's XML for the base game had changed. And most importantly, I captured our finance state. The actual finance window updates are all lost here on our history, which is fine. We're about to fast forward time until we get into harvest. But the 2 most important parts here, the balance, we had $331 and we had a loan out for $355,000. So we've recaptured all of that. Just really the big change is going to be our field states are a little bit different, but more or less equivalent. I felt like it was a fair way to transfer over. And the good news is we're running on the latest and greatest version of the map, which is going back into testing with Giants. So hopefully we'll have some positive updates here soon on this map coming out for all platforms. It's gone back and forth with Giants a number of times now, and I know that South Saskatchewan and BC Bueller have been working hard to resolve all of the issues and make sure that this gets out successfully. So we're following that anxiously, but enough talking. Let's get time moving forward. We need to figure out when our crops are going to be ready to harvest here. I did do my best to try and get them back into the right state. This can be a little bit tricky because it's me eyeballing shades of green, but I think we've got everything set back up here correctly. You'll notice a lot of the fields on the map are in this very awkward state because I did start a new game, so everything comes ready to harvest, and then I changed the time, which didn't really change all of the growth state. So a lot of the surrounding crops and stuff are going to wither and die off here as we get going. That's all right. And then the last change that I did make is I reduced this down to 2 days per month instead of the 4 we were set on, just because I found we weren't really using all of those days. And so that's going to make moving time forward just a little bit easier. And just looking at the map here, we shouldn't have anything ready to harvest until August. So we're going to keep bouncing forward here and go all the way up to August. And I'm noticing that despite having it on 2-day months here, we're going a whole month at a time every time I sleep. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we're now into August. And we've lost a bit more money there on the loans and stuff. You can see our peas are now marked as ready to harvest, as well as our wheat. Does that make sense and line up with what we've seen here? Peas and lentils are in August, and our wheat is here as well, with canola being another month out here into September. And so everything seems to be lining up with where I would expect it. I guess my expectation on this canola was that it was going to be a few shades darker, a little bit further grown along here than it is. So I might have to move this ahead manually with the tools just in case I have messed things up, because that's not grown, and neither did our field 2 here. Didn't grow like it was supposed to. This was in this state before I moved time forward multiple months, so we might need to bounce all of these forward a minute, because this field was already dark green in June when we bought it originally, and we just want to make sure that all of our crops are working correctly here. All right, a couple of quick clicks later, we've got our canola up into an appropriate growth stage, and our lentils should now be into a harvestable state as well. Very good, very good. So we're going to run with this, and we're going to stop messing around with the easy dev tools before I break something. Because let's face it, I haven't done a whole lot of editing field states and whatnot with the tools. I tend to like to play the game the way it was intended. I just couldn't handle losing a entire year's worth of progress on this save. I've been having so much fun with it. So let's go ahead and stop goofing off here and get back into the farming. So first things first, I think we're going to go ahead and get the combine going on one of our more regular crop types here, either the peas or maybe the lentils. I'm trying to think which one we'd want to start with. Probably the lentils, because we bought that field first, and I've been kind of keeping an eye on it across the road there. And so I've got this combine all hooked up here. I think I do have manual attach on though, so let's see if we can get in here and hook everything up so it actually works when we get out to the field. And I'm gonna figure out how to jump across the road here if I can squeeze around this shed. I don't think we're quite gonna make it this way. I'm gonna go the other way out of an abundance of safety here. That semi is just in the way. And we're gonna cut right across the road here and figure out if we can jump into these lentils. And I'm gonna get the combine moving on that field, and I'm realizing I can actually start harvesting the wheat as well. And when I say harvesting, I really mean swathing the wheat. And so I'm loving that idea. We can get 2 jobs going at the same time, kind of put a focused on harvest here and not get too bogged down. I always like to be busy. I like to have multiple machines moving around the map whenever possible. And so that's going to be, I think, the easiest way to do that. We obviously need the combine to pick everything up when we're all said and done. But getting started here, we can get going. I don't have access to this land. I should when I get in here. Now, I'm just checking. I don't know if this is going to lay down a straw swath or anything. I don't think it does. It does not. Perfect. All right, so what I'm going to do with these lentils here is I'm going to back up now that we've opened up a little corner. And we're going to come in here, make a job for course play, make sure we're setting our field position properly. Generate, we got 1 tool. We're going to do 4 headland passes if at all possible. We'll see how it handles this. And I don't think we're going to have a lot of problem with how much we get off of the field here. So we're not going to try and do lands mode or anything. We're just going to do a simple up and down. And it looks like it's only going to end up doing 2 headland passes. That's all right. I think that that'll work out good enough. Let's go ahead and shut that all down and get course play opened up here. Something like that. And I'm going to go ahead. I forget always that where I put the marker is where the start point's going to be. Luckily, I put it in a reasonable position. And I'm seeing that my fuel is quite low on this combine. I forgot we said we were going to figure out how to refuel this combine or adjust its fuel usage numbers. And I didn't get around to doing that. This thing burns through so much fuel that I don't know what we're going to do. Let me get him set up here And then we've got to, at a minimum, go grab the pickup and get him refueled. Let's see if I've actually got fuel in here. I do, thank goodness. So let's get this guy run out here to the field. I do have to remember I've got manual gear shifting turned on here still, so we're still adjusting to that. And I am going to say this as well, we may have a little bit of sound issues to work out the first couple of episodes here when I get into editing. I have had to reset up everything in my environment after this little incident, and so some things might still need to be dialed in. We'll see how it goes though. If we just pop into the combine here, we can refuel the fuel right up there, and let's start this at first waypoint. Give him a go. Not enough money. Oh goodness. Well, we need to come in here and borrow a little bit more to keep the workers going. We're going to go all the way up to 375 because we got a lot of work to do, and we're going to hit start on this and send him on his way. So while the horseplay worker gets started on our field of lentils here, we're going to run back up to the farm and see if I can do something similar with the swather. And then we'll hook up the grain cart and get out here to check on the lentils and kind of see how that's going. I'm looking forward to trying to knock out multiple fields today, if at all possible. Although I do have to admit, I probably spent quite a bit of time going over all of the wonkiness with changing the map around here, and I do think that's going to be important to leave into the episode here. So I do apologize if that was a little bit dull there. I just needed to explain what was going on, and hopefully the series will move more smoothly from this point forward. There we go. We got the Massey Ferguson Heston all set up here. Let's back it out of our little lean-to and see if I can squeeze around this drill. We didn't park this in the most convenient spot. It was in the way with the combine, now it's in the way with the swather. It's just been in the way. So let's jump in cab here for a minute. I'm trying to figure out, how do I get over to that field? I think I'm supposed to go all the way in and on that other road over there, but I don't actually have the trailer to haul the header for the swather here. So let's see if we can just maybe be a little bit sneaky and work our way around the corner here. I'm knocking down a little bit of canola doing this. If it weren't for these trees, I think I could probably have snuck around all the way, but I'm going to get hung up on them. So as much as it pains me to do it, we're going to drive over a few feet of canola here. There we are. And here I'm going to do the same courseplay tricks. We're going to get in here. I'm going to create a job. I'm going to set the field position to right here. I'm going to look for a field position that only gives me field 51, hopefully. So if I put it anywhere over here in this corner, it doesn't seem to give me just 51. If I put it all the way down over here, I can get just field 51. What an awkward spot. All right, we're going to go with that. And we'll see what it does here. I'm going to say one tool. I would love to get more headlands. I'm going to try 3. 4 seems like too much given the curvy nature and all that good stuff. We'll keep all the other same settings here. There we go. And yeah, it looks good. It's just that my starting spot is over there. So I got to figure out how to get over there. I'm just going to swath my way over there. Even if it doesn't quite line up, we can clean that up with the baler later on. But we are going to leave a nice wide swath of wheat down here. Very nice. And I'm going to pick that up. Oh, we got some grass in here. Unfortunately, we'll have to figure that out at some point. But that's all right. And much like the other one, we're going to set this off to first waypoint. Hit go. And yeah, trust this guy to do his thing. Looking good, looking good. He's going to take 28 minutes to swat this field. That seems unnaturally high, given how small the field actually is, but I guess we'll just rely on his best judgment here. And yeah, I'm gonna let this guy go. We're gonna jump over here into the white, and it's time to go find ourselves a gravity wagon. Or not a gravity wagon. We don't have any gravity wagons, although that would have worked out pretty well on this map. We need to find ourselves a whatchamacallit, a grain cart, which is right back here by the landall. So let's see if we can get this thing fired up, just like so. All the cables attached, good deal. And off we go. We need to get out here into this field of lentils and see what this combine is doing. I'm always nervous when I start a piece of equipment off for the first time in a new field to know whether or not it's able to actually handle it. I see our driver. It looks like he's off into a irrigation ditch, but I could be mistaken. He could just be going around it, and there's no problem whatsoever. So let's get out there and see if there's no problems or if I'm rightfully paranoid here. He hasn't made it back to the beginning yet, so we're still on the first pass no matter what we're doing. I wish I knew if he would be able to make it back to the first pass, but you know what? I think the best thing to do is just jump over here and follow the path around. We'll catch up to him eventually here. It looks like he's not in a ditch, at least not right now, so that's encouraging. Means we're still making progress. And I don't see a mound forming yet, so he's probably doing all right, but I am going to try and catch up with him here. This is way curvier of a field back here than I anticipated. Oh, luckily he has cut around to this, and it created a little way for us to catch right up to him. So there you go. All right, well, I'm gonna stop here behind him so we can run up and jump in the cab. And yeah, we're well, yeah, I shouldn't have been worried. We're nowhere near hitting that full up capacity. Lentils at 22%. How much do lentils sell for? Lentils are gonna sell for, it looks like, about 50 on the normal places. This is the train. Oh, but we're in the low spot. It can go up to 120 per bushel. So that's pretty good. Let me compare that to another crop that I know, like, yeah, wheat is at 30, canola is at 50 something. So yeah, we're getting a lot less, but it's worth more than double what some of these other crops are worth, right? Corn's sitting here at 25 on the high end. So I'm not too worried about that then. It's a lot less volume to store for a lot of money. I don't know. It's almost like it's not going to be worth the bin space, to be honest. At 85 bushels one time around, you know, we're not even going to get a truckload of lentils off of this field, most likely. So, you know, I don't know about using a whole bin to store them, although the price is abysmal right now. So lots of things to consider here. Either way, we're making good progress on this field, and I expect that given how little volume of crops we're going to get out of it, that we'll be able to keep the combine running here without any problems. Very little babysitting that needs to go on when you don't need to empty that often. So let's go ahead and let this guy complete this first round. I need to get back over here and check on the swather and make sure we're not having any emergencies on that end of the field. And over here, the swather's already on his second headland pass, which is looking good, looking good. I do really wish that we'd been able to get more headland passes out of the swather. 3 would have been perfect to make sure that we don't have, look at all these random short rows up here that it thinks it's going to do at the end at a diagonal. Luckily, we can take over and just hit those spots manually and not do any kind of a crazy harvesting pattern. This is mostly just to, you know, honestly, get the bulk of the field going in a way that I can then run the combine over it as well and have a little bit of automation to help me out. But, you know, the more I look at this, the more I wonder if we should just take over for this guy and bust out a lot of these side rows manually. I'm going to leave him on the worker until we get around the 2 headland passes, and then we're going to take a look at where we're at with this field and maybe just take control and do it in a much more logical way, because I could definitely speed up the harvest over what I'm seeing on this pattern here, I think. Yeah, this definitely looks like a GPS line down the long way on this field. We take the bulk of this out in 2-3 passes, and then there's just a couple of sideways passes here on those bits that jut in here by the creek, and we'll be all done. So I don't think this is going to take very long at all. So while that swather finishes his round there on the headlands, I'm going to jump back over here into the white, and we've got the combine coming here. I'm going to try and circle in around him, and we will unload the first batch of lentils here. I know he's nowhere near full, but I'm just kind of curious how many bushel we got, and he'll need to get emptied eventually anyway here. I don't actually know where to empty him. This field is so curvy, so I'll probably just get right up on here and see if he stops to start unloading or something like that if we get to an awkward bit. Well, I don't know about stopping, but we're kind of sneaking in here a little bit. Getting the lentils unloaded. 124 bushels, it looks like. All right, well, we'll let him go. That's hardly was hardly worth stopping for to even get him unloaded. He could have gone for a while longer here. That's all right. We did it, and he's good to go. We're gonna stop this field boss right here. We'll have a little bits to clean up at the end, as always with course play. That's all right. And back over here. Oh, I didn't catch him in time. He's doing everything weird on the angles. Well, at this point, I actually kind of want to let him finish the next round, just because that's going to let me bail this all up straight, and then we'll take back over here, I think, because I don't want to do all these little tiny short rows at this ridiculous angle. All right, I don't know where course play was trying to go there. I thought he was going to do one more pass, but since he didn't, it's time for us to do our thing. We're going to try and just follow a similar path here that the headland pass did, and take these off in a couple of passes. Like I said, this is so much more efficient than letting course play try to do a million little rows. And one more sideways pass. I'm hoping I can pick all of this up when I turn back in and head up this way. Doesn't look like I'm quite going to get it all, but we're going to take this straight anyway, so that I can hook up with this other piece we got on the angles. No, we'll do those parts straight, actually. So let's just do this, get it out of the way. We've got little bits here and there. Might as well clean them up while I'm down here. That way I don't have to make my way back down here later on with the swather. Oh, we dropped a little bit of grass in there. Hopefully that doesn't cause us problems with the baler later. And then my original plan here for this whole bit, but apparently just this part now, was, whoa, to take this straight up like so that it's a nice easy path for the baler to come back down after us. And then we might as well circle around up here and clean up the bits that were missed previously. So I'm gonna square this off, hit our missed bits, and then I think we left, yeah, like a pass back over here. So let's grab that as well. And I'm just gonna hug to the right here, get this as close to that other windrow as we can. Maybe we'll have a rake or something and I can combine some of this mess together before we run the baler out here. Although the way the baler ran, we might just end up running the baler, because we don't have that many rows and it gets full pretty fast. Plus, we don't even have a baler. I guess I'm talking about the baler already. We still got to pick this up with the pickup head. And that pickup head is actually a little bit wider than a swath, so that's, I'm hoping we can clean up at least some parts of this. We'll see, we'll see. But after I'm done running over this with the pickup head, then I think we can come back in with the baler for the wheat straw. That's probably the point where I'd use a windrower. I don't think I would try to windrow the crop area here. I don't know what you call it's not straw, but the cut crop that we've got drying on the ground here after we swath it. We would probably not try to windrow that up. I think we'd want to pick that up as it got swathed. There we go. And we've just got a little bit left here. I don't know what the best way to take this is. We're going to take one more up and down path here, I think, and then I'll start working in towards the creek there, just because we have some pretty big points on this part where we'd have some really small rounds. I think this is gonna work out the best. I don't know. We're just making it up as we go, folks. Whoa. I always forget that the steering is a touch sensitive on these swathers. And I was gonna curve around, but I think we're gonna pick it up and try to go not straight, obviously, but a little bit straighter. There we are. Hopefully I can get that in the last pass here. That would be nice to wrap up our swathing here. Yeah, the swather head is quite wide. I like it. There we go. All right, well, we have successfully finished swathing this field of wheat. I don't want to drive over a bunch more canola, and I don't trust myself to drive through here again without doing that, but we're going to give it our best shot. There we go. Nary a scratch. And we are going to need this swather again when we get into our canola. We're not going to need it for the peas or the lentils, though. So I'm going to put this right over here and shut her down, which means it's time to go check on how we're doing on the lentils. Oh, no. The course play worker's been sitting here blocked all this time because the white is in the way. Very unfortunate, very unfortunate. I wonder at what point that went down. Looks like pretty early on because we're still working on headland passes. Oh my goodness. That's so unfortunate, so unfortunate. All right, well, given that we didn't make it as far as we wanted here on the lentils, I think we're going to wrap up the episode here. We'll keep going on lentils next episode. But this has been a very successful kickoff to harvest, and I'm excited that we've managed to get so much work done here. And yeah, we'll catch you next episode. That's all for today. Ketterk out. This was a terrible idea.